We are going to move on to our next showcase session, which is Applied AI Intelligence that Drives Innovation Decisions. So we are going to bring up onto the screen, just a second, Dr. Christian Mühlroth. Sorry if I got that a little bit wrong. Chief Executive Officer, and Pierre Gourlaouen. Sorry.
Yeah, use the first name. It's Chris and Pierre. It's much easier.
Yeah, okay. Chris and Pierre, Chief Product Officer. So Pierre's Chief Product Officer, and they're both at ITONICS. In this session, they're going to demo how ITONIC embeds AI directly into the workflows of innovation, making innovation systematic rather than accidental. I'll let them do their introductions and take it away, guys. Thank you.
Right. Thanks for the readout. Thanks for being here late afternoon. So I'm Chris and also Pierre with me. We'll do probably a 50-50 split. So I'm going to give a little bit of context to take one step back because we've seen so much technology. So I want to make sure I'll put us on the right guardrails. And then, of course, we have a demonstration since this is a tool-based session, and Pierre's going to run the presentation with updates from us. Just a quick one on ITONICS. So we're one of the leading innovation and technology management market tools on the market so far. We're here for 15 years and still thriving, of course, about 114 people. Might changes day per day, of course, and we have about 500 leading organizations we work with. And we've been nominated across the board by Capterra, GetApp, Software Advice, Gartner to be leading in the market. And we're very happy to be in this place. Now, what we do offer on the market is an innovation operating system, because the issue we see for organizations is that the more tools they get, their entire tech stack for innovation and technology is completely scattered. You have small tools here, you have small tools there, but everything is just scattered. It's all over the place. You have data here, you have PowerPoint over there. And it's great that there is so much entrepreneurship and new tools spinning up every day. But it's also an issue for organizations because they actually want to reduce the number of tools and not increase it. And so that's why we have set up to be really the operating system for innovation instead of providing multiple tools. The leading organizations that we work with, they run their innovation and technology management processes all on one platform, in this case, which is ITONICS. And we got global leaders from around the world, if it is automotive, finance, insurance, consumer goods, but also defense and public, of course. They're running their innovation workflows and their innovation governance processes all on ITONICS. But I think we all agree, that's why we are here ultimately, that in a few years from now, I'm pretty confident that we will look back at how we do innovation, specifically in large organizations, and we will think it was super medieval. We'll look back and think, oh, well, this is the old times. And I don't know if you follow, I'm pretty sure you do, if you follow recent developments on artificial general intelligence more specifically. And there is a test that's called humanity's last exam, because basically we're running out of tests to see if the artificial intelligence can actually catch up to human knowledge. So there is a new one that has been released, I guess, a couple of months ago. It's called Humanity's Last Exam. And what it basically is 2,500 super tough questions. Here are three examples. One is from mathematics. There are, things on the slide I don't even recognize. I had this, back in school, but that's a long time ago. So very hard mathematical problems, problems on chemistry, on physics. And so these are just 3 out of 2,500 questions. So, if you're interested in getting a little challenge over the weekend, I encourage you to look up the test and maybe try to answer a couple of questions in your specific domain. I try to do it for information systems, IT, and also statistics. And, I did not very well compared to current AI models. And the best model out there that has the highest success rate on answering those questions is actually Grok 4 Heavy, the model released by Elon Musk and xAI about 6 weeks ago. So you can see it's got about less than half, 44%, of those questions right, which is pretty impressive. And I think the difference of Grok 4 Heavy compared to Grok 4, which only in quotes, has 39% correct answers, is that Grok 4 Heavy is also trained with using tools. So already during the training process, it can use tools. So it gets much more out of the training process than other models. But you also see O3 and Gemini 2.5 Pro getting every fourth question right. And then also other tools or the other LLMs from different providers like O3 without tools and Grok 4 also without any tools. So I think that's pretty impressive compared to the fact that those 2,500 questions were curated by kind of the smartest humans, from so really pioneers and established people in their respective fields. So it's kind of obvious, and this is just one of the reasons why we see everything accelerate. I mean, this is nothing especially surprising, but of course we experience technology changing and accelerating at an exponential rate for sure. But I think what we're seeing specifically in large corporations is actually the rate of change for those organizations is even faster than exponential. And the reason is that the bigger an organization becomes, the slower it actually gets. Yeah? So while technology is increasing and accelerating at an exponential rate, organizations actually get slower over time because of policies, processes, politics sometimes, and all those guardrails that big organizations have to go through. So ultimately, the problem is this gap here in between, which is growing, and it's not growing at an exponential rate, it's actually growing faster than an exponential rate. That's why we think it's a super exponential development. And the risk is clear. It's disruption. Now it's being displaced by different organizations that just provide better services, create better products and so on. And it doesn't have to be the disruption of the entire business. I mean, if you're a large corporate, you probably have many different business area, product lines and so on. So that's fine. But it's still an issue if other companies and other competitors are chipping away revenue and chipping away market share here and there, and then it becomes a major issue for a big organization. So the problem is pretty clear, and this leads us to the conclusion that, of course, we need a new way to drive research, to drive development and innovation in large companies. And we've seen great examples today and also in the recent sessions. But typically, there is one issue. Of course, you can use different tools, tailor-made tools, or even just, the standard large language models to do stuff, to do research. Fine. I mean, ChatGPT's deep research functions or the agents, they're pretty impressive. Same for Perplexity. You can also use different models for ideation. For sure, you get much more ideas. I don't think that's what you want, but you get much more ideas, and you also can drive creativity, as mentioned before. And I would agree with the previous speaker that ideas actually can turn out to be better than ideas generated by humans. And in fact, we did a study. I can paste the link later in the chat if you want, where we kind of see that ideas created by an LLM can actually be better. Not more, but better than from humans. But the issue is always these things are disconnected. So they don't have any context. So we believe that if you want to do this right, you need to have all possible three things. Of external data and internal data, and three different data types. The first one you need to get right is market and technology signals. And that includes patents, papers, startup funding information, regulation, competition data, and so on. So it's all about external data that is relevant to your business, to your product, to your business line, depending on where you sit, what problem you want to solve. And there is tools to get this right, to get market and technology signals, but you also need to make them usable to your future workflows. Otherwise, you get a nice list or a nice trend radar or whatever, but it's not super useful because it's not connected to any subsequent processes. So you have this. Then the second data bucket is basically all relevant data about your company situation, which is data from the inside. That includes customer insights, information on maybe the product portfolio, and the R&D and innovation portfolio. So stuff that you already have and know. And then the third bucket is the future, so where you want to go, strategies, certain bets you're making, so the direction where you want to take the team, the products, the technologies, the business area, the entire company. And that includes, maybe strategy papers, OKRs, certain strategic themes and constraints. That could be political constraints, policy constraints, whatsoever. And when you start to combine this information, you actually can make much more sense of the data for innovation than if you would just, go to a tool and ask it to create ideas for you. So for example, you connect market and technology data to your company data, to the company situation. Now, this is going to help you uncover white spaces and unmet needs. You understand the customer situation. You understand maybe competition, and you also understand where you are. And this is ultimately going to help you find white spaces and unmet needs of customers, for example. You can do the same stuff when you connect market and technology data, so outside data, to your strategy, which uncovers potential disruptions and regulatory triggers coming from the outside, relevant to your strategy and the bets that you're making. And then, of course, you can also directly combine, the company situation with strategy and bets to uncover potential capability and capacity gaps, which means this is where we want to go. So strategy and bets is where I want to go. Company situation is where we are today. So is there anything missing? Are we missing capabilities or some capacities that we need to build, buy, partner, whatever? Yeah. And in order to truly manage innovation and technology, you basically need to connect all those dots with each other. Otherwise it's just guesswork. And how we connect these dots, specifically in how the tool looks like and what we've come up with in the innovation operating system, it's going to be shared by Pierre for the next 15 minutes.
Thanks a lot, Chris. So let me share my screen. So everyone is aware, but I saw it so many times. There is so many information, especially on the innovation OS. You have your trends, the signals from the market, the technology, some strategy insight, some projects, some ideas, and sometimes we have some customers that have thousands of ideas and hundreds of trends and multiple dozens of strategic elements because they want to maintain all the knowledge and sometimes also hundreds of projects. And with all this information, the more time go, the more time you will lose all your focus. We were speaking in the previous session about one thing, how to avoid to lose time with AI. So this is a quote from the CEO of NVIDIA: AI won't take your job, the person who uses AI will take yours. Why is it important to understand this? Maybe it's not yet the case for all the fields, but I'm working on the product side. I'm working also with developers. And during the last 6 months, we saw 50% productivity increase with the developers that are using developer tools like Cursor. Why? Because AI is not directly building the software. It's impossible. It will do too many mistakes, like the citation. But it's directly inside the tools that is used by developer to provide some new line and to suggest some modification. And that's why it's the first time that we are sharing this innovation AI model. And nobody, even our customers, saw it. And even some internal employees didn't saw it. So you will be the first one. So the ITONICS agentic AI has been made by ourselves with the search with multiple capabilities. And it's directly enabled inside the tools, and it's not using OpenAI, it's using Bedrock with our own cluster. So all the information remain private for big corporation. So you will see that we are connecting a lot of tools inside the ITONICS Innovation AI. I can't release yet the name because we will have a product event end of September where we will release this new AI model plus a bunch of features, and we will release also the new name and all the features that are capable to achieve. But with this innovation AI, first, it is capable to search market and tech signals. So at ITONICS, since 15 years, we are building a data lake with 50 million of patent, publication, all the information that are coming around the world, but not the dirty publication, not the football score news that you may get online. So we are building this data lake, and this AI model will be capable to search first inside the outside world that Chris was explaining. Then we'll build also, we have built also the ability to search elements. So inside your organization, what do you have? Which projects are in place? Which strategic elements? What are your ideas? What are the projects that failed in the past? What was the reason? What are the budgets that you have in place? What are the trends and the technologies that you have inside your portfolio? All this information will be available to the ITONICS Agentic AI and remain private. And then we'll have also the capabilities to create elements. A little bit like for the developer, where the AI is capable to update codes. But for this, you need to give control to the human. And you will see later how we are capable to achieve this. And we are the first software capable to update any information, dynamic data from a software. Even Airtable and all this software like this are not capable for now to update data endpoint. And then we'll be able to update elements, as I told you. So create elements, update elements, rate elements, and explain why the AI is thinking that this is the right rating. And you can go back and see which rating has been made and why. Prevent duplication for sure, but not just a classic duplication engine, capable to search across everything and to also detect some stuff that are not directly correlated, but indirect correlated thanks to the market and tech signals. Create and configure the software, some views. So for example, you want to create a radar, we'll be able to create a radar thanks to the AI. You want to create a board, a Kanban, any representation of your data, you will be able just to ask to the AI and to create this representation. You will be able to summarize, to have access to all the history data, and to perform some projection on your data. And this new ITONICS Agentic AI will be released end of September. Some expert finding and also some product knowledge. So that's thanks to this, the AI know exactly what is capable to do and not, and can recommend you how to do it if he is not able to do it himself. So let's start with this example. So this is the ITONICS Innovation OS. And we see that we have this big data lake. It's a demonstration, a Lipton demonstration platform that has made. I have only 3 million data endpoint on this one. And we have also created a bunch of elements. So some projects, some strategic elements, some ideas, some trends, some technology that you may have in your portfolios. With all this information, the external world and the internal one of the platform, we are capable to run the agentic AI with our own model on top of this. And then you will have access to this AI chatbot at anywhere where it's working with the agentic AI. And for example, can you scan me recent patent and article online and create relevant trend for me? And the AI, the model will think and try to find on the market what are the information that are new and what are the information that are already inside the software, inside your portfolio, and find the relevant trends that you are missing. So it will search inside the signals, inside the data lake, delegate to another agent that is capable to create elements, and then it will give you a resume where you will see exactly this research has been made. And you see, it's exactly like you saw. You have, as a human, the ability to accept or to reject any modification that the agentic AI is suggesting you to make. This is unique. And for example, we see here that it's a demonstration made platform made for Lipton, and you can say, okay, I don't trust the AI, ask me every time, or auto run the modification directly inside the software. And then you will get the sources that has been used and the explanation. And on this example, we have 3 new trends. In real time, you can accept the modification and you will see the 3 new trends on your radar, and with maybe nothing else than a title and a description. Then you need to move forward. So you can move forward thanks to the functionality of the platform with some humans, or you can ask to the AI model, to agentic AI model to do something more. So we'll be able to ask much more information, but how to do so? How the AI model is capable to know that I'm Lipton. And this is the kind of trend that I'm looking forward. You can explain your mission, your focus, your key goals inside the context of the agentic AI, and also plug some strategic element and select the priorities that you want to achieve. And this agentic AI will have exactly the knowledge of your organization. So any employees working in your corporation is capable to know exactly what are the priority right now for your organization. And then you can ask to segment those trends. So the agentic AI will be also capable to update the elements and suggest you some new segmentation. Again, like for the developer, because we saw that it's working so well to give AI for human, but not to let the AI do everything alone, you can accept or reject any modification. If we accept everything in real time, you will see the new segmentation that has been suggested by the AI. And then maybe you want to rate all the trends. Why not? We did a study like Chris was explaining, and the AI is rating better than the human, but the human don't trust the AI rating. So what do? Again, we give control to the end user. We'll be able to rate any elements, even your own data endpoint. So for example, on this platform, I created potential impact, strategic fit, need for action, so different rating. And the AI is selecting the scope. I think it's a high scope, a high potential impact. The time to market is 2-4. And you can over the information and you will understand why the AI, for this specific question, for this specific element, is thinking that the rating impact, the potential impact is this. And again, you can over all this information and see all the ratings that has been suggested by the AI, and it can work with any data endpoint. So your own data endpoint, your own element, your own segmentation, any information, you add it, and the data, the agentic AI that we are building since 4 years is capable to split everything. So we did a lot of POC to write to this, but that's why we are able to release the first model next month. And then after having all this rating, again, you can accept or reject all the modifications that has been made by the AI. And if you accept all the rating information, and you will see the bubble moving directly in your radar, and all the information will be updated directly inside your software. So that's the first use case that I wanted to show you. But with the agentic AI of ITONICS, you are capable to work with external information, market information. You can plug your own sources also with your context of your organization, your strategy, upload some PDF to explain what are your current priority, plus update the system and help anyone to generate some trends if needed, or to analyze the rating of your trends. Then another example, maybe you want to create some projects, but not just simple project. So I will ask to the agentic AI to, can you search for strategies that didn't consume their budget, and then create projects based on those trends and technologies that are relevant for those strategies. So basically, the AI model will search inside all the technology and trends that you have in your portfolios, look at the strategies that didn't consume your budget. So for example, this one, and then suggest you some new innovation projects that are relevant for you, thanks to the context and thanks to the outside information. And you will see that you are getting all the information. So you will see that you are getting the list of trends that has been used of your portfolio. The strategic element regenerate 50% of our lift, and he's explaining and doing the calculation himself. You have a budget planned of 50 million, you consuming only 37 million. So I think I have still some million to use. And then you can use this to create new projects that are relevant for this strategy to have a balanced portfolio, which is very important. It can work for project, for trends, for technology, for anything. And then it's not just this. Inside each element, we have also the same model that is used to generate some information that you may want to have. So for example, Biopack RT expansion projects for Lipton, you have, for example, a description field. For now, the description field is empty. You could ask directly the agentic AI to fill it, or you can ask the classic editor. But inside the classic editor, again, the same model is available, and you can do a pastel analysis for BioPack. And then the AI model will analyze the element, analyze the signals of your market, and create and suggest, not create, it's always a suggestion, because we saw it working much better, that this could be a great first pastel analysis. And then you will get the formatting that is made by the AI automatically, directly available inside ITONICS without going to ChatGPT and trying to copy paste without the context of anything. And also with the issues that you may have with data governance.
I think sorry to cut you off a little bit. I know we're just running low on time, and I was wondering, do you want to take a question perhaps in the next?
Yeah, for sure.
All righty. You can do like one question and then I can wrap us up here. If anyone has, I'm looking through the chat right now. There's just a lot of talk going on, which is awesome. But if anyone has a question, feel free to come off mute. Otherwise, let me see. Oh, Ian's raised his hand. Go ahead, Ian.
I was on mute, sorry.
All good.
Yeah, this was actually going to be an email to the ITONICS team, because I've been speaking to some of your guys already. We've just seen some presentations from other teams with other services, right? Innovation, ideation services, management services, etc. And it becomes very, it's like a swamp almost, right? ITONICS is great, by the way, so I'm a little bit biased, but there's a lot happening in the market. How open is the ITONICS platform? And this is maybe for some of the other teams as well. How open is the ITONICS platform for taking ideas from other systems, right? Can it collaborate and work with other knowledge systems, or is it a locked system?
Yeah, so it's a very good question. I didn't have the time, but I can show it to you. But yes, it's open to other system, so you can make integration, and the AI model is capable to work with those integration. So, for example, let's say you have an integration with just your mailbox. The AI is capable to send emails. For example, if you have your integration, we have integration also with some reporting tools. And about the co-creation part of everything that we are building, Chris, maybe you want to speak about it a little bit. But we have a community in place where every quarter we are showing all the newest stuff that we are building and getting some new ideas to improve the software. Chris, maybe do you want to explain a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Keep it short. Thanks for the question, Ian. I think it's a great one. And yes, absolutely. I mean, we can be, the early stage of the innovation process, and then maybe if ideation happens somewhere else, just plug the information from us to a different tool, do some ideation there. If it's maybe even a collaboration tool such as Miro or any other whiteboards, why not? Yeah? If you get the context, it's great. Then just plug it in back to ITONICS and bring it to life. So absolutely, sure.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I see, Bruno, you have also a question?
Yeah, just for ITONICS platform, what is your market? It's only big company who are using your tools, or SMB also?
Depends on the definition a bit. So maybe you should have at least 1,000 employees or so. So lower is typically too small. But again, it depends on the case, to be honest. I mean, we use it on our own, for example, for our innovation process or for our product development process, to be much more precise. And we're just 140 people. And even though we're using it, so it depends a little bit on how I want to do it. Obviously, if you want to have technology governance, then maybe we would be too small and you need a couple of 10,000 people to actually, have great tech governance processes. But if you just want to assist product development in a much more structured way, which every company does, then, be our guest.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the questions and for that fantastic talk and demo. We really appreciate it. I know there's lots of questions in the chat and things, so feel free to connect with the team.